Hi, this is Linda Welsh from Linda Welsh Realty Group and Compass in Austin, Texas. I want to talk to you buyers today about whether or not now is the ideal buying time in Austin. If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy in Austin, you're probably asking the same question a lot of buyers are asking right now. Is now actually the ideal time to jump in, or should I keep waiting? Here's the truth. This market looks very different from the frenzy we saw a few years ago. In Austin, home prices were up just 1% year over year in February of 2026, with a median sale price of $520,000. And homes were taking about 96 days on average to sell. That tells me that buyers are no longer dealing with the same breakneck environment they were before. Today, I'll break down whether now is really the ideal buying time in Austin, who this market favors most, and what you need to watch out for before making a move. I recently spoke with a buyer who'd been sitting on the sidelines for months, hoping mortgage rates would fall and prices would drop a lot more. But while they were waiting for the perfect moment, they started noticing something interesting. More homes were sitting longer. Sellers were becoming more flexible, and there were finally real opportunities to negotiate again. That's the shift happening in Austin right now. Buyers may not be getting ultra low rates, but now they are getting something many haven't had in years: more choice, more time, and more leverage. So here are a few keys to what's happening right now. Number one, Austin is giving buyers more breathing room. The biggest reason some buyers are calling this a better time to buy is simple. The pressure has eased. Austin homes are taking longer to sell than they did a year ago. And nationally, inventory has been rising year over year for 29 straight months. Realtor.com's March 2026 data also showed Austin among the metros with the biggest year over year declines in median list price per square foot, down 7.1%. That doesn't mean every home is a bargain, but it does mean the buyers are in a much better position to slow down, compare options, and negotiate. In other words, if you're a buyer who got tired of bidding wars, waived contingencies, and rushed decisions, this version of Austin is a lot friendlier than the market we saw during the peak frenzy. Number two, mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are still the wild card. Now let's talk about the part that keeps us from being a perfect market: mortgage rates. Freddie Mac reported the average 30-year fixed mortgage at 6.46% in early April 2026. That's slightly below where rates were a year ago, but still high enough to seriously affect monthly affordability. So is now the ideal time? It can be, but only if the payment works for your budget. Because even if you negotiate a better purchase price, a high monthly payment can still stretch you too thin. That's why the best buyers in this market are not the ones trying to perfectly time the rates. They're the ones buying a home they can comfortably afford right now with a plan to refinance later if rates improve, or they may be working with a really serious realtor who's able to negotiate a buy down with the seller. That can be a key point to not only take advantage of the slower market, but also get the rate they want at a price that they can afford at this time. Number three, the best time is usually when you're prepared. Here's what I tell buyers all the time. The ideal time is not just about the market. It's also about your readiness. Nationally, pending sales were up 3.9% year over year in March, which tells us serious buyers are still moving when the numbers make sense. That means the best opportunities in Austin are likely going to go to buyers who are already pre-approved, know their price range, and can act quickly when a good property hits the market. So if you're financially ready, planning to stay put for a few years, and willing to negotiate smartly, this could be one of the better buying windows Austin has offered in a long time. But if you're hoping for rock bottom rates, dramatic price crashes, or a flawless market with zero competition, you may be waiting longer than you want. In fact, it may never happen. So is now the ideal buying time in Austin? For many buyers, it's a much better time than it was, especially if you value negotiating power, more inventory, and less pressure. But the right answer still comes down to your finances, your timeline, and your long-term goals. If you're thinking about buying in Austin this year, feel free to call or text me. at 512-657-4033 or email me at linda.welsh@compass.com. I'd be happy to help you evaluate the market, look at your options, and decide whether now is the right time for you to make a move.